Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's been kind of slow because of the holidays. You know, I try not to get overly... I try to hang out with the family and do that whole thing instead of working on this. I snuck down here a little bit. As you see in the last video, we had some more problems. Surprise. It seems to be the story of my life with this car right now. It's kind of driving me insane. But it's almost the new year. It's not nearly as far along as I was hoping it would be by January. But living in Connecticut, I have January, February, March. You know, sometimes the tracks start to open end of March, beginning of April, depending on the winter. But it's mostly been, you know, mid-April. So I figured I have to end April, beginning of May to finish this car. So January, February, March, April, 4 months. There's not terribly a lot of work left to do on it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do, but it's not a ton of hard work. If you guys would please like, comment, subscribe, ring the notifications bell so I show up in your feed there, so you can remember to watch my video, because YouTube algorithm only likes people with 3 million viewers. That'd be great. I appreciate it. We still also have that Monkey Fab T6 flange that we're giving away once we hit 7,000. So if you subscribe and share, you know, you could be entered to win that. And it's build season. You don't want to win that in the middle of, you know, July. What else? If you are not a Sick the Mag subscriber, you really should be. These things are wild. I mean, it's, put it that way. It's 200 and, I think it says 230 pages. It's issue 3 and issue 4. But, I mean, this thing is, I subscribed to this when they first came out because I fully believe in print. I love print. I can't stand the internet. But, oh, look, there's your boy. Little burnout box at Byron. But what's cool about this is they try to get lots of, you know, they got rid of the, there's like 4 ads in here, and it looks like it's just the ads for the sponsors. But it's nice because they do a lot of features. Quick little, you can see, you know, a couple of paragraphs with a picture talking about the guy's car. I was super happy to flip through and find me in there. That's right. It was super cool. You know, that's what's cool about this. He gives a lot opportunity to a lot of guys to get their name in a magazine and a couple of pictures of their cars in the magazine. And like, they do bigger stuff, obviously. This was a cool moment with Pepsi Joe. That was a really cool moment at the end. But like, they do, you know, they do full stories on some of the guys who had serious heartaches, and talk to a couple of the photographers. Nice guys. Yeah, you should get subscribed to that. Also, my wife has hooked me up with a bunch of GoPro accessories for the holidays. I got a media mod case. I got a max lens mod. I got a big old light. Let's see if I can show you guys this. All right. I got this light. I also got the GoPro light. This is my... I'm trying to figure out a battery backup for this, because anybody who uses the GoPros knows that they suck the battery out. You know, if I'm under the car or something. And it's nice because that thing gets bright. Way too bright. You know. So yeah, I got this zip tied up. It's not going to be permanent. Yeah. So hopefully with the shotgun mic on there now, I mean, I don't really need this in here, you get a little better audio out of everything going on. But we'll see how this all works out. You know, I've read a ton of reviews. I can't, sorry, I'm gonna put this thing back on so I don't lose it. I can't bring myself to spend big money on a video camera when, like, Cletus literally uses a cell phone. You know, this is more, shit, there's probably $600 into this GoPro setup now. But I'm not spending big money on cameras for this. It's not ever gonna happen. I got 3 GoPros now. Well, 2 GoPros and a off-brand that we're gonna try out this year and see how well it does. Anyway, enough of the jargon. Let's get back to work. I have to. I made this side pipe. Right, I did a bunch of. God, that looks like shit. I did a bunch of welding on the car so it holds form. Right. So we have to take this off, take it over to the bench, weld it out. And also we're going to mount the radiator in this video. I touched on this a little bit in the last one, but what I'm doing, if you can see, I drilled some holes to sink the holder tube in, but I think I'm going to go all the way through the bottom so I could drop it lower. Haven't got that far. So that's going to be, you know, like that. That's how it's going to hold it. And which is nice because now this gives me tabs to hold the AC condenser. I was planning on reusing this one, right? But I think I'm going to go smaller. I don't foresee this thing needing to be this big, especially with the fans I'm going to put on this. I think it'll pull enough air and it'll be alright. Because what I think I'm going to do is I have that condenser and I have the old radiator out of this car. I'm pretty sure that's going to end up in the convertible. I still haven't figured out 100% which motor I'm putting in that car. I've even dabbled in the thought of putting a Coyote in it, but I'm not 100% sure I want to spend that much money. Motors have gotten cheaper. I mean, you can pick up a Toyota motor, like a Gen 1, for, you know, $1,500 ish. But it's everything else to go along with them that's expensive. When I have a 4.8 over there that just needs a cam and lifters, and if I stick an LS in the car, it's going to get a cam regardless. So it doesn't have heads though, because I stole the heads off of it that are sitting over here, because that's probably going to end up in the new motor instead of $799s. Who knows? Maybe I'll build the new motor and stick this motor in the convertible. But I don't want to do nothing crazy in that car. I literally just want like a cam only car with a full exhaust, AC, power steering, the whole nine. Something my wife could jump in, hit the key, and drive. You know, put a stock 480 in it, maybe with a shift kit. Nothing fancy. Terminator X, call it a day. Shit. If I can't even find a good deal on Terminator X, I'll put a gold box in it or something. But yeah. So let's yank this off, finish welding this out, get the blow-off valve mounted up underneath here. Alright, well, that's all burned in. It's not my best work, but it's honest work. It was pretty difficult to go from, so the flanges on the turbo were very thick, and this was super thick, so it was throwing me for a loop going back and forth between it all. But it's done. It's not the prettiest. It's definitely not my best work. I think my best work was along the flange here. What are you gonna do? You know, it is what it is. I'm far from a professional fabricator. Obviously, do this in my garage. Learned on YouTube, and this is why I don't do it for anybody else, because it looked like shit. I'm gonna let that cool off. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna build some baffling inside the valve covers. You don't have to. It's really up to you. I'd recommend it. I really wanted to not. We'll discombobulate it over here. you know, you're just going to get oil into your valve cover, into your catch can if you don't. You just have to drain it more. Risk overflowing it, which you don't want to do. Well, speaking of overflowing it, not what you want to do, let me talk about something for a minute, because I've seen this come up more than once on the channel. There was a bunch of people that said, please don't mount this here, please don't mount this here in front of this tire. I understand the concern. That is an oil, it is a fluid, and it gets under the tires, it's a problem. Well, here was my train of thought on this. Tube front end, right? 100 psi oil pressure going into this thing. If I were to move this over 3 inches, right? Let's flip it, you know, 6 inches onto the other side of the frame rail. It's still going to be oil under the tire. There's not, you got to think 100 psi. If a fitting comes loose or a gasket blows out of this, the oil's going absolutely everywhere. There's really nothing you can do about it, but this is also why you use quality parts, quality fittings, and quality hose. I'm probably going to have Fragola make me up some lines, crimped fittings, PTFE hose, so there really shouldn't be any issues with this. I don't think I've seen anyone, you know, blow the O-ring out in here or anything. You know, it could have happened, but that's also something you're going to see on startup with an island. If this is going to leak, you're going to see it eventually. It's not just, it shouldn't just be a catastrophic failure. So, yeah, I appreciate the concern of my safety, but I did think this through before I put it here. It's not the most ideal location. The ideal location would be, you know, in the trunk behind the rear tires, but that's just not feasible. It is feasible. I actually could, but it's just hose. That's that. I almost put it on the inside of that frame rail and just ran a hose from the oil over to it. But, you know, yeah, it's not directly in front of the tire if it's on the inside of the frame rail, but it's still in front of the rear tires. You know, the rear tires will still pick all the oil up and send you for big problems anyway. I thought about building, you know, a fender liner, but it's just, that's that. So, again, thank you for the concern. We got to build something in here. Alright, there's our fitting. Get this cap off before I forget about it, start welding it and melt the dang thing. Just a dash 10 fitting. I weld them from the backside because it looks cleaner on the outside. I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm just going to bend a piece of aluminum to go around this and then just put a hole and a hole. I see, that's what I don't know. Maybe I'll just put a flat piece and, you know, just end it here and here so it could still get around the outsides. I don't know, the whole baffling thing, single baffle and a valve cover bothers me. Because, you know, it would be multi-layers in like a catch can. So there'd be like a slant here, and then it'd have to come around, and there'd be another one before the oil could get out. So, yeah, we're going to think about that for a minute. Alright, the mounts are in. Welded all around. Got it all tacked up. Brought the lower bar over. Got everything lined up. Make sure it was good. So we just got to burn these 4 things in. Mount this back in the car. Pressure test the radiator again and make sure it's good. And the whole radiator mounting will be all set. Got the radiator mounted. She's in there pretty solid. The only thing I don't like is it rubs on this weld on this corner. So what I'm thinking about doing is just, I don't know if I can just bend this bracket down now. I might be able to just tap it down out of the way. Maybe. little finessing. So that is done. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run to the hardware store and get some stainless button heads here. Because these are just some trash, regular old steel bolts, and these are going to get wet. So I want some stainless button heads. Will give it a little bit more space. The only problem I ran into was with that big water pump on there, I can't just slide this thing down the way I was doing it. I actually have to unbolt this one, leave it, and, you know, swing it in because the big Mazir water pump on it. Whatever. Can't win everything, I guess. So, finally that went right. The baffles went right. Intercooler piping, haven't touched it. Don't know what I'm going to do. I'm super duper pissed off about it still. I'm going to figure out what fan I want to run. I thought about getting the Delta Pag 18-inch fan, a single 18, but now I'm thinking maybe I can fit dual 14s on here. I got 26 inches end to end. So, I know, 28, two 14-inch fans are over 30 inches. But, you know, if you stagger them, you might be able to get them a little bit closer, because I want to stay. Like, Delta Pag will make you a shroud where the fan comes up over this lip a little bit. I don't want that. But I think I have 19 and a half top to bottom, which would fit an 18 fine, but I feel like, you know, there's a lot of dead space with an 18-inch fan. I don't have anything round in 18 inches. Let's see if we can make a quick little template. And it's not 18 inches. Well, the blades are 18 inches, let's say. This is obviously just a guesstimate. So, that should be damn close enough. Fucking 18 inches. Look at that. Huh? Obviously it's going to be on the back side, but for demonstration purposes, right? Look how much radiator is not being cooled, right? So I'm wondering if I were to go to dual 14s, you would get more surface area covered. That's something I will have to talk to them about. I also don't want to spend a fortune on a shroud from them. You know, if it's decent priced, alright, and we'll see if I can go pick it up, because they're like an hour from me, come to find out. But you know, the water comes in here, it's going to come across, down and out. So if I can get more coverage than this, that'd be great. That's something to think about. I mean, I don't even know how much they're 14-inch fans. I know they're 18-inch fans, like $450. I don't know. I'll call them. Their website's confusing me. So, what do we get done? We welded intercooler piping. Has to be all cut apart. We baffled the valve covers. All I gotta do is weld an 1/8 inch NPT bung in the back of the driver one, which I need to go order. And we mounted the radiator. Got that all situated. So, even though this is messed up, all in all, it wasn't a bad day. It was pretty productive. We're moving right along. The upside is now, once I weld that bung in, I can send the valve covers out. See, I don't know if I want to do that until all the tubing's done. Still don't know what I'm going to do about the headers yet. I haven't really found anything that suits my fancy to fit around AC and F-body alternator. And I'm not going up and forward because look where the turbos are. And I don't want to deal with relocating the spark plugs, sparkle wires to go up and over with the manifolds. That's not happening. Yep, anyway, that's that. I'll leave this one nice and short. The rest have been long. So, we'll come back and I don't know what the hell we're going to be doing. Everything's just been jumbled. I just remembered I still have to mount my transcooler, which I haven't decided on because I really want to put a fuel cell under the trunk, and that transcooler is massive, so I don't know if it will all fit. I got to make like a box before I buy the fuel cell to see if that's something I could do back there, because I don't want it up front, the transcooler. Anyway guys, get in your garage, crack a cold beer. I'm going to run to the hardware store, grab some bolts, and yeah, get working on your hot rod. Have a good night guys.